1 minute before noon. Good afternoon. We'll say good afternoon because it's going to change in a second. Ron Nicoletti here with Brian Nato. And, boy, we got good news. We've got good news today, Brian. We're back on the turf. Not race number 1, but the other one's 5, 7, and 10, I believe you said.
Very exciting. Yeah, we had 4 scheduled. We're going to finally get back. I know the crew around here has done such a good hard work to get us back on the turf, and today, well, knock on wood, Mother Nature cooperates. It's a beautiful day out here. We hope to see you out here, but we're going to get back on the turf in race number 5, and we all have been very, very eagerly awaiting that.
Eagerly, and then there's a little more good news, not for everybody, but for somebody who hit the Rainbow Six yesterday for, I think, 6,000 or
about
something?
60 and change or so, yeah. So we'll start anew today, and your ticket's coming up a little bit later on, but that'll be in race number 5 today.
Yeah, so the first race today, this is the only one that's off the turf. It was originally scheduled for a mile on the grass, now 1 mile and 70 yards into Peter Claimers. And it's a race, nice field of 11. We did have some scratches in here, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's the only changes on the card.
It's the last time you'll say that, right?
Yes.
So that's pretty cool,
I can't
too.
believe it. It was so much fun today to come in and only have to scratch out 4 horses. Brian's got his early pick 5 ticket. Let's check it out.
Yep, let's take a look at it now, and it's a $60 early pick 5 ticket. We'll spread deep here in this opening leg, regardless of the surface. I thought it was going to be a difficult race. In race number 2, I'm down on the inside with Kindness. I'm interested to see what they do with this Dave Fox first. The works are off the page in this horse. In race number 3, the topic is the 7. It's a post position race for me. Edith has got more speed than Go Amy. In race number 4, my best bet of the day is Insisting for Rohan Crichton, and I'll spread in race 5 too, and that is on the turf with the top pick in there is the 8 Encanto for Jack Sisterson.
That's the one that will be on the turf. We'll also have the Tropical Turf pick 3
Oh,
today.
yeah.
And we could actually say Tropical Turf pick 3. It's been a while. I had to practice that not to screw it up. So, Brian, change your surface and everything like that. You know, I know you went deep. I thought it was a wide open affair. We got a video we're going to show. Is that going to help us figure this thing out?
Well, it's between Steeler Mischief and Alistair last time. It was on the Tapeta, it was on the Tapeta as well. So this works. Chromotion is out of this race.
Right.
It's the one scratch of the main body of the race that's out. Steeler Mischief the 5, Alistair the 7, and there was some punches thrown here a little bit.
I like that.
Yeah, you like that? And I thought Alistair, I think the point of this is the 7 here, Alistair, I thought it really did kind of take the worst of it personally. Steeler Mischief, they're both heavily favored in this spot, 6-5 and 8-5. You can see him right there, got whacked pretty good off his mark there. And the winner is TB12 Always, who was nowheresville on the far turn, and he's going to swoop them all. But I thought Alistair took the worst of it, and probably, to me, I think he gets the W if he didn't get whacked there. And that was an implausible win from TB12 Always. They are both, Ronnie, big threats here now on the surface switch.
Well, you got the 10 on top. We'll talk about that horse. You just look at Salvatore Prince, and you could look at this 2 ways. Why the huge drop?
Yeah.
And, that's the number one thing. Then you go and you look down and say, this horse fits great here. Just read down, 2 starts back on the grass, was in the Bears' Den. Then you just go, and the horse that won that Grandmo the first, pretty nice horse.
Yeah.
English Channel, Cutler Bay, before they go. Now, 25, you can have it.
Yeah, it's a little bit dicey, right? We're facing older horses for the first time as well. Excuse me. Jose D'Angelo does put them in where they can win, and maybe that at the end of the day, that's where he is. I think my pick, Ronnie, moves up more than anybody on the surface switch because Disattach was in against much better last time in a 25 starter. Dave Fox going great runs around here. That's good to see. And I think Disattach for Mike Rapoli, too. Just have to work out a trip, but he's a big threat.
Yeah, he's a big threat. Yeah, so that is race number 1. Like I said, that's the only one today off the turf. So we're going to go to race number 2, and it's 6 furlongs, and it's going to be a maiden. These are filly 2-year-olds, no scratches. We're going to be saying that all day. Pete's going to have an easy time giving you the changes this afternoon. And Brian, pick 4.
Yeah, it's just basically a run back here, $12 ticket. I can just tweet it out, and we'll get to it later because this is a fun race to talk about. And there's that guy again, Dave Fox, going to have what I think is going to be a big say.
Yeah, with Kindness, and I think it's a major player. I have him a little further down, and boy, he's just so good. But you're right about those works, unbelievable. So, and this horse cost $200,000.
A Spun to Run, who was a Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile winner. They paid $200,000 for the horse, and the works certainly whisper ready. The rail is not ideal. I get that, but Sammy Camacho white hot to start this Sunshine meet before he moves over. We think, assume, goes over to Tampa and blows things up over there. Such a high percentage guy over there. Boy, is he riding well. The works here certainly whisper ready. I made this horse favored on the morning line. We'll talk about Matty R in a second, but that race was timed with a sundial for Matty R. I think I'm assuming now the money shows. I'll say one thing, Ronnie, when we get to this race at 1:25 in the p.m., if With Kindness is sitting up there 5-6 to 1, I don't think that's a good sign at all.
No, and you made a great point with the rail. It's so dicey when you break from Europe. But look, you mentioned Matty R. Before we talk about my top pick, Don't Fool Me, let's show that video with Matty R and Rip riding away.
Yeah. So Matty R is 40 cents on the dollar here, and she's walking the dog. I mean, I know it's on a muddy track. 46-4, Ryan. She can't see it out. I don't like that at all. I don't think this was a good race. I joked, but it's the truth. This is a extremely slow race for this kind of level. These are Florida-bred maiden special weights. This is not maiden claimers at a cheaper value. This left a very bad taste in my mouth. I expect better from her today. It is Safi. It is Edgar Zayas, but they're probably, I would assume, going to bet this horse again, and I'm willing to make her prove it to me.
Well, we'll see how she runs this afternoon.
Yeah.
You're right with Matty R in there is 5-2, second choice in the morning line. But I want to talk about Don't Fool Me. Now, you follow this horse to number 3. You look 2 starts back. Sloppy track, runs exceptionally well. State-bred maiden special weights. Kathleen O'Connell, one of the best ever. Thinks enough of this horse to put it in the Desert Vixen. She doesn't usually do stuff like that. I found the most incredible stat that I want to show you. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. Look at this stat here when it pops up. Third career star, 2-year-olds in the past 5 years. She's 29%. 57% in money and a positive return of investment at 267. So she takes her time with a horse is what this shows to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got her in second. She's a must-use A kind of horse to me, and certainly getting out of the shadow of our Morning Brew, who's dominated everybody in 2 starts, is going to help Don't Fool With Me.
That's a great race. So let's go to race number 3, 6 furlong. These are maiden claiming filly 2-year-olds. And this race here, another one that you can go a couple of different ways. I, like you, went with Edith. Let's show that replay.
Yeah, Edith and Rancho Vista, and Edith is better here. This was her debut. She was clear in deep stretch and couldn't see it out at 19-10, 9-5. I don't love that, but what she has today, and I'm assuming now, finally Goemi gets off the rail, but she's got the speed. Goemi has not shown an abundance of early speed in her 2 starts, and I think Edith from this post position for Safi and the Hildebrands on dry land today on a fast main track. We like that. We're going to talk about Mika Husbands in the lightning round as well, but it was good to see him get his first ever Gulfstream win on Friday. He's kind of got a big pedigree as a jockey, and Edith, I think, is in a pretty good spot here, Rob.
Yeah, and this, Edith, and of course in that race was Rancho Vista, who I had, rated second in this thing. You're right about that. Now, you mentioned Mika Husbands, so you even get a weight break today. You get the nice outside trip, and you get a little bit of work there. I know I don't personally pay that much attention to weight, but sometimes if it's one or the other, you go with the one that's getting less weight. So and then the number 6 horse in here, Go Amy for Bobby DeBona.
Yeah, I mean it's go time for Go Amy, right? They tried her twice in a maiden special weight. She couldn't get the job done. She was a little outclassed. Finally gets off the rail. I think that will help her. Maybe it'll put a little more speed into her too.
Well, race number 4 is going to be a 5.5 furlong sprint on the Peter. These are claimers, 3-year-olds and upward, which never won 2 races. Brian's best bet is in here with the number 3, Insisting.
Well, maybe I'll look foolish and they don't bet this horse. I don't really know, but I think they're going to send it on her. It's now Rohan's taken over. He's put a few works into this horse, We saw what he did off the claim yesterday in that basic stakes race, essentially. race number 3. I think insisting with Jaramillo aboard, it's a speed play. He comes out of the Regis Rolex race, who is better than him on the Tapeta as a 3-year-old. There's nothing like that in here. He's dropping to the level to get a score, and I think he's in a good spot today.
Well, let's show a stat with Rohan Creighton with insisting this afternoon, and here it'll pop up, and you see, first after a trainer switch in the past 5 years, 17%, 34%. You knew it was going to be a low ROI, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not great.
It's not great. It's just okay, but something that we try to do to put out there. And, I'm always amazed when I see these stats, from with the DRF formulator. Sometimes they pop up and you can't believe it. But hey, they're there. I used this 7 in second, but I don't know if you're using this one, and that is don't answer. And what is it? It's the drop for me, for Carlos Navarez, and, Sonny Leone will be in the saddle. And you go 2 starts back, ran well. They stepped him up a little bit to try. It didn't work out.
Yeah, if they don't bet the 3, then this is your favorite. The problem is, and this is Vicente Sella, too, who was a co-leading owner of the Royal Palm meet. Now, Oscar Gonzalez, now we go to the Nevaez barn. 1 for 26, 13 seconds / thirds. Ugh, boy, I don't like that.
I don't like that. Brian's best bet makes a good point. And we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'm going to try and make a good point with my Rainbow 6 ticket. We'll be right back.
And they're off.
New DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views. Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access past performances. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
We are back. And we are on the turf. It's Ron and it's Brian, and we think Dennis might be here, but we're not quite sure about that. Race 5 is 7.5 furlongs. Not only the Rainbow 6, we got the Tropical Turf Pick 3 in here. And once again, no scratches in the race. So we'll see how it plays out. Yep. We'll show the Rainbow 6 first and then your ticket. Okay, so let's start with the Rainbow. 43.20. I had no singles. My singles earlier in the card. I think it's heated is my best bet today, I think. So we're in agreement there. We'll talk about the 5th. In the 6th race, I like the number 7 horse in there, and that's Miguel's Bell, and I think everybody's going to like that horse. In the 7th race today, I went 3 deep in there, but my top pick is the 4 Obliging. In the 8th race, just 2 for me, and it's 1 and 2, and it's going to be Truth and Honesty and the number 5 Grimes. In race number 9, 2 once again, and I Concrete Gory looks real tough in there, but I also used the 7 Readier. And in the last race, that is on the turf, don't forget, I went 6, 3, 5 to 6 being Sizzle for Lisa Lewis.
Whoa, okay. I like it. That race stayed on the turf, and it's interesting because everybody in that race, I think there's more Tapeta form than turf form, so it's going to be an interesting one in there.
How'd you work it out with the Tropical Turf Pick 3?
Take a look at it now. It's a $48 ticket for me. We'll spread a little bit in race number 5. In race number 7, Ron, top pick in there, you can see 2 deep. The top pick is the rail, and that is Glory Glory. It could be a little bit of a price there for Mary Leitner. And in race number 10, I've got the 2 D'Angelo runners, who are definitely better on Tapeta, but in Jose I trust, and I think these horses are actually coming in the right way as the now horses. If I could use one more, probably would on the surface switch. Sizzle is probably... I think Sizzle probably is going to be favored in that spot now.
And we got a video we'll show of Rachel's song in that race. So getting back to this race here, Ron, I started it off with the number 5, I know from Patrick B. and Cohn. And, of course, there's some guesswork here. Tried the turf in its debut. And it was a real tough race. That one was the Royal Palm, really.
Right.
The winner went out and finished second in England now.
Yeah,
and,
Gabadoon.
Yeah, Gabadoon. So, and then you come back, 1.70 on the Tapeta from a tough post. just gets beat that nose.
Yeah, if you're looking at your form, don't lose sight that this is not a turf sprint. This is a turf route. We're at 2 turns here at Gulfstream 7.5. This is a post position race too. The outside posts are a little bit at a disadvantage. Your horse fits like a glove in here. Good form. The turf race wasn't bad at all when you kind of put it into perspective, as you mentioned.
Yeah, then, you went with Encanto, for Jack Siston, who had a real nice win yesterday. And another horse, sprinting in his first 3 races, going to stretch out around the 2 turns today.
Yeah, this horse ran really well in the Royal Palm, and then for whatever reason at Saratoga, I guess better company is probably the reason, stubbed his toe a little bit, bred for 2 turns, certainly on the bottom of this pedigree. The post is not ideal, but we'll hope Hector Diaz Jr. can save some ground into what is a very quick run into the first turn. Rails at 45 feet, too.
Big boy Jack, who you have rated higher than me, hey, it's got speed. I'm going to try to turf. Ran well, last couple of times when he stretched it out. It's Antonio Sandy getting Edgar Zayas in the saddle, so always worth a second look in that particular race. And, we didn't tell you at the top of the show, the turf course is listed as good.
Yeah.
So just so you know, the main track is fast. But Pete will be on just a few moments after we're done to tell you everything you need to know. So going to race number 6 this afternoon, it's a 6 furlong sprint. Claimers, fillies, 3-year-olds and up. We're going to run back my late pick 5 ticket. And you're going to see I'm going to single in here. I went too deep in my other race, but here I just singled Miguel's Bell to kick it off. Yeah. So there it is. You can see it up there, Miguel's Bell. Race number 7, sort of a rehash of what we did in 8, 9, and 10. Just the same numbers I used in those races, but I just think that race number 6, that you got to go with Miguel's Bell. I think you're all right.
I mean, I don't love making horses 4 to 5. She could be 1 to 5 in here. She literally just blasted everybody else in here. Now, maybe it was, you can say to yourself, was it the muddy track? I don't know, but she's the best horse in the race. Quite honestly, I think she probably is going to move up on a fast main track, and it's Carlos David. It would be very surprising to me if one of these gals that she vanquished last time by a big, big margin, if they somehow turn the tables.
Well, how about that? That's the horse you picked.
Yeah, I got you. I will say this about the 2. How about that? And the 4, Patty's Having Fun, and even the 1, Martha Mehuvier. They probably can bridge the gap now that the main track is fast. I don't see him turn the table. So
yeah, it's a tough race there. Race number 7 this afternoon is 5 furlongs on that good turf course. Love saying that. It's an allowance optional claimer, and these are 2-year-old fillies. And once again, no scratches in the race. Love saying that too. And Brian's got his late pick 4 ticket.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it now. It's actually going to be a $40 ticket. I got to add Sizzle into the last race. That's a mistake on my part. In race number 8, the top pick is my long shot on the card today. That is Feast. In race number 9, I'm just going to single Concrete Glory, not going to try to beat that one at the short number. And I've got the D'Angelo's on top, the 5 Rachel's Song, and the 1 Sarah's Dream. But as Ronnie's pick, Sizzle in there as a big, big move up now that we get to play on the green stuff and we stick on the turf.
Getting back to this 7th race this afternoon, and I went with the number 4 horse in here, Obliging, on top of my ticket. You have a little further down. I'll kick it off here with that. And Obliging, from Jorge Delgado, they thrown it up for this horse. He ran okay at Woodbine. They bring him up. They put him in the Bolton Landing.
Yeah.
He runs okay, and now they're going to try him on the turf. I don't know if they were thinking maybe who was going to be on the Tapiti here because the horse ran well before.
Right.
But here's a horse certainly with connections that can move forward today.
Yeah, and the Munnings can run on the turf to be sure. This horse has shown some ability. Good-looking debut win at Monmouth. He was 10 cents on the dollar on a 7-horse field at Monmouth on debut. You think the word was out? It certainly was. And Delgado and AML Racing, you're going to hear that a lot now down here, especially it was good to see him back here the other day. The barn's going to start winning races.
Oh, I think your top pick is really good here because if you go 2 starts back at Colonial, breaks its maiden on the grass, sprinting on the grass, comes back, and as you mentioned, runs into Our Morning Brew in the Desert Vixen. Nobody was beating that horse that day. So this horse, to me, with MSCL Jaramillo, looks awful tough in here.
Yeah, we're going to be a speed play in here. Now, this is the big leagues, and they were, restricted state-bred kind of races at Colonial. This is a better group today, to be sure. He'll have to see it out, Hill meaning Amicio, on this filly, this daughter of Buchero, down from the inside. I hope we can break running because we're going to have to go.
Well, the outside horse you have in second, I have in second, is Me Governor. This one from Carlos David. And you could just watch also in that Bolton Landing up there, finished fourth. The Colleen, 2 starts back, was third. They're going to put blinkers on today.
Yeah, I think she's clearly the horse to beat. She's stakes placed on the turf. That's a huge deal. That was a good race at Monmouth that Ronnie alluded to in the Colleen. The blinkers are going to help her, and Sammy Camacho is going to help anything he gets aboard right now.
Yeah, so Sammy's been riding great. Just certain guys have really come to the forefront, as they say, early on in this meeting here, the Sunshine Meet. Race number 8 is going to be a sprint at 5 furlongs on the Tapeta. These are claimers. They're 3-year-olds and upward. And another race that interesting to see. I have my long shot in here.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, you do? Oh, yeah. So I like – well, you go first.
All right. Well, we both got dueling long shots in here, and it's a race that I think is allowed to look for a long shot in here. I'll try it with Feast. You got to go back a little bit. The Tapeta races in May, June, and July were pretty good efforts. They were against good fields. Now, this horse, you could argue, has been a little bit off form of late. And maybe that race on May 18th is just the exception as opposed to the rule. But we're dropping today. We're back on a surface that, to me, he's run better over than in the past, especially the last 2 dirt races. We'll take a shot. Skylar Spanabel won doubled up a couple weeks ago. She's done good work with the Mario Lopez barn, all told. Not necessarily here at Gulfstream Park, but they've got a little niche together.
Well, I went, my long shot is to Gabagoo, and I like saying that. And you just look at this horse, races 2 starts back in August. At this similar level with 16 condition claimers, wins for fun, comes back, they step the horse up, doesn't run that well. I think putting it back down, if you look at this horse's record on the Tapeta, he's run well here at Gulfstream. He's got 11 starts with 3 wins, 3 thirds, so he's 6 for 11 in the money. Looking for a little bit of a shot with Joe Trios in the saddle. Thought maybe this was the one.
Yeah, he's got a lot of speed, and you're right. The last time he was kind of with his friends, he absolutely demolished them. What do you get today? He got beat up a little bit last time, but the drop's not going to hurt him any at all, that's for sure.
Well, you made a great point, too, because we both got our long shots in here. We got a video, right, that we wanted to show of Grimes in Truth and Honesty. That must help us out here, because we're all over the board.
Yeah, Grimes has got to be the horse to beat here for Patter Pop, because this is not only a solid win, but he's got the right running style as well to kind of just settle back a little bit and then make a run, and he doesn't have to be that far back. He's kind of down on the inside the entire way here, which is not necessarily ever the case where you want to be on the Tapeta. This is a tougher group today than he just beat, but this post and the flow of this race really say to me that Grimes is at the end of the day your most likely winner. Now, the margin for error is a very scant one, and Truth and Honesty ran pretty well after taking like all the worst of it, but Truth and Honesty down from the rail, he's got to go, right?
Yeah, I mean, besides my long shot, I agree with you. Those are the horses that you really got to look at. And with the story with Grimes is, if you just look at his past performances, boy, this guy was at King Cab, XY Speed, knocking heads. So finally they said, hey, let's put this horse where he belongs. 10,000, what does he do? Win, coming right back at 10,000. And this barn, as you mentioned, with the trainer Fernando Abreu, they want to win. They put the horses where they belong.
Yeah, and he's off to a really good start. Neophyte is a tepid morning line favorite. That's Carlos David, who's, they love to bet these horses, and he does such a good job. And he's even dropping just a little bit in Class 2.
Ridden by Jonathan Acasio. Let's go to race number 9. This is where the first leg of the Coast to Coast Pick 5 picks off its leg. Hey, don't forget that it started yesterday was the first day.
It did, back at Santa Anita. We'll talk about that. Our sister track had a huge day out there yesterday.
Yeah, nine race, 6 furlongs. This allowance optional claimer, and they're 3-year-olds and upward. And interesting to see if you put Concrete Glory on top, or did you go another way?
Well, I kind of think you have to.
Yeah.
The layoff bugs me just a little bit, but it's Safi, it's Edgard. He's not in for a tag. He's 8 for 13 on our main track, and the winner last time, Yes I'm a Beast, just absolutely freaked, and he's got freakish races in him, and Concrete Glory, I think, for Big Frank and Safi and Edgard is a short number here.
I want to show you a stat on here, and here's the stat, and we'll pop it up here. This is a big one. It's 69 for 233. Wow. This is layoff of 61 to 180 days, third sprints in the past 5 years. 30%. This is gigantic. 58% in the money, 177 is return of investment.
So the stat not only flatters this horse, but you take it up a level when you say the horse is not coming back off this layoff in for a tag. They don't want to lose him. They want to keep him. So I think, there's no issues to me. Just a little freshening. Back now, ready to roll.
And, Frank, a good friend of mine, Big Frank,
Yeah.
and he's married to a really nice woman, Marie Rupolo Nicoletti. So just wanted to put that out there. So just, but you showed Life is Precious. Did we show it?
No, we didn't.
No, let's show that.
He was good. Okay,
Yeah.
he's stepping up now today and facing winners, and he's facing a pretty serious horse in Concrete Glory. But this is Gerald Bennett, and the barn's going good. This did not go well at the start. You're going to see him drop back here, and he's the 2. So already he's up against it a little bit. We're only going 6 on the main track. It's tough to make up this kind of ground where he is now early in this race. But watch him thread through on the far turn. He's going to end up winning going away. Now, he was flow-aided. This race did kind of fall apart a little bit. But, boy, this was a very, very impressive effort, and I think now that was his first main track start in quite some time. He's got it behind him. Can he beat a horse like Concrete Glory on the up and up? No, he can't, but I think he's definitely on the uptick for a barn that's been very prominent here.
Yeah, they're like 6 for 9 in the money already. It's probably even better than that now a couple of days later. So definitely a horse that you have to really take a look at in there. A final race of the day becomes a really good one because it's on the turf, which we were liking with a big field of 10. And we got a starter allowance, 1 mile. The turf is good. This is leg C of the coast to coast. You already got to be in it by this time. Starter allowance and fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Nice field of 10 in here. And let's start it off with Rachel's song and show us what you spotted.
Yeah, the replay's out because it's a Peter race.
Right.
But there's a few things happening here. That was her first start in well over a year layoff. And Jose D'Angelo took the waiver, too. So now he's got that behind her. He didn't want to lose her either. He's going to run her on turf. I know she's run once on turf. It wasn't that good. She had trouble that day. She was a big number. It was during the championship meet. It was for a different trainer. I don't love her as much on turf as I would have on the Tapeta, but I still have her on top, and I still like her chances in here. This is a fascinating race now. Oddly enough, it was always on the turf. Most of the horses in here seemingly look a little bit better on Tapeta.
Well, one of them that's probably good on turf is the number 6 Sizzle. You just look at that race back in May. It was a 75 optional claimer. Majestic Venezuela is a good horse. This one was 3rd. There was a couple of next out winners that came out of the race, albeit it was way back in May. So you would expect horses would come back and win. Lisa Lewis, a win yesterday. Yep. She does an excellent job with horses coming off the bench. And you're getting Sammy Camacho, who we've been singing his praises over the last couple of days.
Yeah, Majestic Venezuela, by the way, has since won a stakes race on the turf.
Right.
Only little bit of a nip for me is that she's facing older horses for the first time, but this, you could argue the race goes through her now.
Yeah, you will see it, how it plays out. In second, you have the number 1 in there, and that's Sarah's Dream from Jose D'Angelo. And, this horse hadn't been on the turf since Kentucky Downs, last August and everything, so you sort of can't judge it off that. But look at the 2 races on the Tapeta, just bring gone, you know.
So first of all, that race doesn't even count at Kentucky Downs. Okay, we've talked about that.
I still can't figure that one out.
Exactly. And as Ronnie just said, they were Tapeta. To me, I don't really care. I just think she's just way better right now, and she's in great form. And another horse that Jose doesn't want to risk for a tag.
Yeah, and this horse ran great. You know what I mean? I had a little further down, but you really got to look at that horse, and maybe you go with a horse like Bet Storm. You give this one a look. Safi Joseph Jr., and that about tells it all. Ran a good 4th in its debut, and, comes back, wins 35 on the Tapeta back in July. You know how well he does with all of these things, Safi, and you get Edgar Zayas and a team that just wins in bunches.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem is she's slow and she's going to be overbet, so you got to, anytime you take the good and bad with these kind of connections, you get the best of the best, but you also take all the worst of it on the toe.
And Rachel's song that Brian already talked about, so that's the 10-race card for us, and it's so exciting that we're back on the turf this afternoon, so make sure that we'll talk about all the other good things throughout the afternoon, but we got our lightning round, boy, and it's a good one today.
Yeah. Got the Lightning around here. California Crown Day yesterday at Santa Anita, and it did not disappoint. What a thriller it was on that huge day out there. Winning, you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic, and Subsanador just gutted it out over the two Baffert horses. National Treasure, our Pegasus World Cup winner, and then the other horse, Newgate, coming up on the outside, and Subsanador in between. Just did not want to be denied, and the inaugural California Crown. Well, this did not disappoint, Ron.
Yeah, and you were right with this horse. Good pick by you and everything.
Thanks.
What I was right about, I'm not bragging or anything, I just don't think National Treasure likes 9
You did
furlongs.
say that,
I
yeah.
just, I ran great. I'm not taking anything away from it. So it was a good race.
Yeah.
All the races out there were really nice and formful, and you got a buddy who kept it perfect, too.
Yeah, this is Most Handsome, and he was good in the Hollywood Beach. Did he benefit by the surface switch? Well, maybe, but irregardless of that, he was good again for Ronnie Spatz. This was a nice ride. I'm on the best horse. Go to the front and just get the job done, and he's now perfect in 2 starts, and he did it very, very impressively. He gutted it out. He made all the running, and he was very, he's saved by the line because Milas Wiss was coming for Mike Yates.
Yeah, just good race by him. And, you pointed that out, too, yesterday when we talked about it. The outside trip, I thought he was going to stalk. I really did.
Yeah.
And they just said, go to the front. We
Drayden Van Dyke.
I talked with Ronnie Spatz and the connections afterward, and they were overjoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. Why would you not be? Now you're 2 for 2, you're perfect, and you're a stakes winner.
What do we got next?
Well, Mika Husbands, we talked about this on
yeah.
Friday. Congratulations on his first win at Gulfstream Park. This was Friday here with Vindicate Cha-Cha. And now, today, he's back because he didn't have him out yesterday, so we wanted to give him a highlight today. He's got a few today. This is he's related to Patrick Husbands, the legendary rider there. The Dove Rules here, is the other Saffrey. We talked about that too. The Dove Rules, and great to see him get the job done. And, hey, best of luck today as well.
Yeah, he's got a couple of mounts today, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. So your best bet today is early on the card. We'll talk about yours. But I think mine is early. You got insisting at 2-1.
Rohan?
Mine, I believe, is in race number 3. It's Edith in a nice outside trip this afternoon.
Yeah.
I love when we have dueling long shots. We get to brag with each other, and see how we do. And we're both in the same race.
Yeah, Feast for me in race 8, the 9 horse, and I think you're inside, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 6-1. I think that horse is going to run well at this particular level. So that's it for us. And we're going to turn it over to Pete Aiello, and he's going to give you the change. We'll call it, a couple of scratches. That's
Singular.
it.
Yeah.
Singular, the change, But it's a lot of fun. We're back on the turf, which is really great. So good luck. We'll see you in a little bit.